Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Hard Reset, a Cold North production. I'm your host, Patrick the Law Morris. Joining me this week for our new, one could even say maybe resurrections of Hard Reset. That's a pun. It's a pun because the Matrix Resurrections trailer dropped today.
Boo. This is a game podcast, not a movie podcast. Move on.
All right, joining me this week for our new resurrections of Hard Reset, we have the tenacious Tim Miller.
Hello.
And the notorious Nathan Crumrine.
Hello.
Yeah, that's the part where you say hi.
I did say hi.
I know, it just took you a long time. Coming up this week on Hard Reset, we'll be reacting to the PlayStation showcase that happened literally earlier today. Just a few hours ago, we watched it together, and there was some hot DLC announced. But before we get to all that, I want to know what you guys have been playing.
Is this a DLC Hard Reset episode?
It's
a new DLC.
Is this DLC? Okay, but before we get to all that, I want to know what you guys have been playing. So, Nathan, tell me what you've been playing.
Ooh, I'm hitting us with a throwback, because now there's been two other games coming or announced already. I've been playing a ton of Pokemon Shield. A ton.
Nice.
I think I'm like 45 hours into it.
Whoa!
And
have you played them? Have you beaten the main story yet, or are you just doing?
side content? No.
Okay.
Nope. I mean, all I've been doing is just catching literally everything I can and trying to force all my Pokemon to evolve. I'm putting them through a very strict boot camp.
Uh-oh.
Jesus.
It sounds like slavery with extra steps.
I mean, if you think about it, Pokemon to begin with is kind of fucked up because it's like, just, glorified cockfighting and like imprisonment of animals against their will. And
it's all the food chain, baby.
And not to mention, like, man, I was talking about this with someone the other day. Like, when all your Pokemon die, you just black out. Like, everybody just came up and just beat you up instead. And so you just black out and wake up. Like, this, I don't know, man. That's some implied violence right there. Who knows what happened?
So Nathan, I'm on howlongtobeat.com, and I'm looking at Pokemon Sword and Shield. Main story, 25 and a half hours. Main and extras, 42 and a half. So that's for people who are like being pretty thorough, but like not completionist. You are beyond that. So you're at like 45. You have gone just beyond main and extras. The completionist is going to spend 95 and a half hours beating this game.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I mean, my goal at this point is just like to collect, like to catch all the Pokemon. So like, got to catch them all.
And you
has sword, so we can trade stuff and everything. So
right, exactly. I was gonna say you can trade with Tawny so that you can catch them all, but
exactly
at that point you'll be a fucking liar because Tawny caught some of them and then traded them to you.
Not if I catch them on Tawny's Switch.
That's the loophole.
Either that or, like, I don't know. I think it'd be fair if I can commission some, right?
Yeah, honestly, yes.
It works.
And like, I think that really Gotta Catch 'Em All is just more catchy than, gotta complete the Pokedex for Professor Oak. That's not a good slogan.
Yep. Professor Oak is probably dead.
I mean, yeah,
he's retired.
Oak.
Yeah, with the times.
He's retired in the Aloha region. Aloha region. I don't know. Whichever one was the frickin'
Alola.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Professor Oak had like pretty severely gray hair 25 years ago. So
yep.
I'm kind of
so you can get
Nathan,
gray hairs in your 30s and 40s.
Maybe he's dead.
Still holding on. God bless.
Hey, he could be in his 50s or 60s for all you know. He's probably still kicking. He's probably doing way better in shape than you are.
He just dyed his hair.
That's not tough to do, Tim.
Okay, fair.
So Nathan, are you gonna play Brilliant? Is it Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl?
I'd like to, because I think those are the ones that are remasters, right? Or remakes?
Yeah, the remakes of Gen 4.
Yeah, so I played uh man, I can't remember which one. Was it Sapphire?
Sapphire was Gen 2.
That was Gen 3.
Man.
No.
Yes, Gen 3.
Yeah, it was. Ruby and Sapphire. Crystal was Gen
Okay.
2.
Well,
Yep.
it will. I probably will play it.
I mean,
I'm
I
also
loved
looking
Gen
forward
4.
to the newer one where it's like in the past when Pokemon or like when humans were like in ancient times.
Legends
I
Arceus.
think that's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Legends
I think
Arceus.
that's gonna be kind of neat.
So you're like kind of hardcore Pokemon. Have you ever like fallen into the Pokemon trap before?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I got the nostalgia for Red version hardcore.
Oh, but this is like the first time that you've fallen in as an adult.
Yeah,
Oh,
as in the
wow.
newer versions. Yep.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in, my man, because I played through so I did this what you're doing about 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago. And I played through Red version, and then I played through then I bought DS and I played through Soul Silver, and then I bought Diamond and I played through that, and then like my car was at the mechanic, and so I didn't have like I couldn't I couldn't get around. I was having to hitch rides with everyone, but my
Perfect time to have a handheld for Pokemon.
I know, right? But I finished Pokemon Diamond at like 2 a.m. and I didn't have a car. And I looked it up, and the Walmart near me was open 24/7, and they had Pokemon Platinum in stock. So I went and I woke my sister up, and I was like, "You need to drive me to Walmart." And she's like, "Why?" And I was like, "I need to buy Pokemon so I can keep playing Pokemon right now."
I just picture you like waking her up by like grabbing the collar of her shirt and bringing her close to you and going, "Take me to Walmart."
I realized even in the moment, I was like, that like drug addict who like knows they have a problem, and like their family knows they have a problem, but they're like going to their very close family member in a moment of desperation to be like, "Look, I really, really need you to go score this for me, please." And like that's what it was. It was like very calm and somber and quiet, and like I need this right now. And she, to her credit, she got out of bed and she drove me to Walmart, and I got Pokemon Platinum, and I played until about noon, and then I fell asleep, and then I slept for like 4 hours, woke up, kept playing Pokemon Platinum.
Man, you fell in deep.
Yeah, it was bad. So I mean, you're there though. You're
45 hours is looking pretty light right now.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true, because like I think I put I put probably 40 hours into Red, and then I put probably 40 or 50 into Silver, and then I put probably 40 or 50 into Diamond. So at this point, I was like I was probably 150 hours into Pokemon overall, and that's when you're like, waking up family members at 2 a.m. to drive you to Walmart.
Do my best not to get there.
It's gonna happen, especially
We'll see.
Diamond and Pearl coming out. Diamond is the best. So
okay, well, we'll give it a shot.
And who did you choose as your starter?
Oh man, the water lizard. I can't even remember his
So you're not even
name.
using your starter?
So you got Gex. Nice.
Yeah. I'm not using it because like boot camp, everybody's going through until they get to level like 50 or evolve, and then
God,
moving on.
So you're not even like
grinding.
super attached to any.
I'm literally just grinding. Oh no, I am. They're the ones I'm gonna come back to, unless I find other loves on the way. But
other loves. Who's your favorite Pokemon?
Yeah. Like ever out of all of them?
Yes. Tim?
It's tough. I have two. It would either be Jolteon or Scissor?
Okay. All right. Jolteon is a respectable choice. Scissor, not so much, but Nathan?
My recent, like, I really like Gengar, and I really like, recently I'm really liking Grimmsnarl.
Okay.
He's just basically like Goblin and Venom from the Spider-Man universe put together into a Pokemon.
All right. I'm kind of wishing I hadn't dunked on Tim's choice of Scissor just now, because first choice, Ho-Oh, no doubt.
Okay.
Second choice, though, I'm kind of regretting this. I'm regretting dunking on Tim because I'm about to get it right back. Fennekin?
I literally don't even know.
And I thought I was a furry. All right.
I love Fennekin, but not the evolved versions. I give Fennekin an Everstone. I have like a level 96 Fennekin.
Jeez.
So, it was the best starter from that generation.
All right. That's pretty adorable.
It was the only. I know Fennekin's gorgeous, right? And it was the only good starter from that generation, if I recall correctly. Which I feel like they knew, because like an hour and a half into the game, maybe not even that, maybe like a half hour into the game, they're like, hey, by the way, do you want to choose a Gen 1 starter? And it's like, yes, I do want to do that.
Yes, give me my Squirtle, please.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Tim, what have you been playing?
I can tell you what I haven't been playing.
If the answer is Psychonauts, I'm going to be mad.
I haven't played it since I played it the first day.
Oh, sad. Okay. What have you not been playing?
I haven't been playing Sonic Colors because it's broken as fuck on the Switch.
Oh,
really?
No.
Yeah. This is basically a warning to anyone looking to get this. Get it on anything other than Switch, because Switch currently has a lot of audio issues, crashing, and other bugs.
Wow.
It's playable, not much.
That sucks, because like
I feel like it'd be such a good Switch game.
And this is the first I'm hearing.
They're working on a patch. They've already said that they're looking into doing that stuff. But right now it's unplayable. Get it elsewhere.
So this is the first I'm hearing.
That's why
of
I
this.
bought it twice and bought it on Xbox, and it just got here today, and I'll be doing that as soon as this is over.
Oh, nice. Are you going to stream that? Because I would watch that.
Maybe. I don't know.
I would as well, actually.
I don't think I've ever seen Sonic Colors gameplay. And like I've heard that one is kind of slept on as like one of the better 3D Sonic games.
It's definitely up there in the top 3.
Really? Tim, I know that you're very familiar with Sonic.
I'm curious what your top 3 is.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I know that Sonic Adventure 2 Battle is number 1.
It's not, actually.
Okay.
But it is in my top 3. But my top 3 are Colors, Generations, and Adventure 2 Battle.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
I figured it would be Generations and Adventure 2 Battle. So what's number 1? Is Generations number 1?
No, Colors is. I fucking love this game. Like,
really?
It is Sonic 3D at its best. Like, they hit a really good mix of the 2D and 3D. The boost mechanic actually works in this game. And yeah, when it's actually playable and not on Switch, that actually works pretty well. And it was a great title for the Wii too, especially coming off of what was it? Sonic and the Secret Rings and Sonic and the Black Knights. They're freaking auto run games. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen those
storybook games. Yeah, no, it's like it was a godsend comparatively.
So that's what Colors came off of. I thought Colors came off of 06.
Well, so it kind of did. 06 was before it, but like if you like go with release wise, Black Knight and I know for certain, Secret Rings came out before it. Black Knight, I think, did too.
You're right. Sonic Colors didn't come out until 2010. I did not.
Yeah, it was late in the Wii cycle. It was later in the Wii cycle. Yeah. But yeah, definitely did really good. Like I like it way better than I did Unleashed because they turned that into a beat 'em up game. Yep. That said, day stages with actually having Sonic were all right. But then you've got Sonic Boom. All those were not great. You had Sonic Lost World. That was basically Mario Galaxy.
Oh,
So
okay.
like, and then the only other ones you have like before it were 06, which wasn't great. You had Shadow the Hedgehog, which was
Hell yeah.
Sonic with guns.
Hell
Fun,
yeah.
but not great.
Tim is like very
That's my
hesitant,
game right
and
there.
Nathan's just like, "Fuck yes."
I changed my mind. That's number one.
And you had Heroes,
Extra writers.
and then you had Heroes, which was
Bad I've heard.
adventures, but with 3 players. And yeah, I liked it when I was a kid. Looking back on it now, it hasn't aged well. It's not that great.
Interesting. Well, it's a shame that
I
it's
couldn't
so
even finish that
broken.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's much better on PC and Xbox and PlayStation. Like, if you can get them on those consoles, I definitely would recommend it. They have a lot less issues.
Okay, so Tim, I'm not gonna buy this now. I'm not gonna buy this at full price, but like every now and then someone convinces me like, hey, you should try this Sonic game. It's really good. And this happens like every, like 3 to 5 years. And I always try it and I always think, wow, I don't fucking like Sonic. And the last time this happened was Sonic Mania. And you know what, Tim, you're convincing me when I see Sonic Colors for like $20 or less, which it's Sonic, so it's going to be there in like a few months. I'm probably going to buy Sonic Colors and give it a try.
All right, don't come blaming me though when you don't like it, because you just don't like Sonic in general.
And that's the thing is I never hold it against anyone because it's like I know that I just don't like. Actually, I do hold it against myself. I get mad at myself every time I buy a Sonic game. I'm like, why do I do this?
I was about to give you credit for actually trying still.
Well, I do that with Fallout too. It's like I know that I don't like.
Oh,
Fallout,
I don't make that mistake anymore. I've learned.
But I play every fucking Fallout for like 20 hours, and then I'm like, I don't like this, and then I put it down. So, well, Sonic Colors, Tim, you should stream it. I would definitely watch that. I would actually be very interested in watching that. So,
we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, let us know. Throw it in the personal project and Krang if you do. That would be cool to watch. I personally finished Psychonauts 2 this week, and holy shit, that game is amazing. Like, that game is so interesting and fun, and like it is just relentlessly creative. And like that's what makes it so gameplay wise, like the combat is good. I would say it's good. It's not great. It's not Ratchet and Clank level combat, but where it really shines is just in that creativity. It gets so they're just constantly doing things that like I think like, wow, how I would have never thought of this. And like I also wouldn't have ever like I there are no other game developers that I can think of that would really push something like this out. And so like just purely for the creativity, it's without a doubt contender for Game of the Year.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a couple levels of it, and I've liked what I saw so far, even if a lot of the teeth grossed me out. But, you know.
Yeah.
Well, so like the teeth part ends pretty quickly. But then like
I've seen screenshots of that game, like all the screenshots I've ever seen advertising the game, it's gums and teeth. That's all I've seen in any of it.
It's like, the first level. That's all they're showing you.
They're only showing the first level?
Yeah,
Why?
because the like so they only show the first level because the first level is like hugely creative. It's very like it's got this great hook of like the teeth, right? The teeth are they're weird.
Such a but it's such a like I feel like it'd be such a polarizing thing. Like some people would see that and be like, "Oh no, I don't want to play that." Teeth, no thanks.
They even
Well-
put a warning in the beginning of the game saying, like,
Yeah,
if
like,
you don't like
you gotta be
dental
okay with,
trauma and
like-
teeth stuff, if you don't like this stuff, don't play this because it's going to freak you out because we have a
Yeah.
lot of it.
Yeah, the way that warning reads is it's just like, you need, like, warning, this game deals with some pretty serious topics, including like mental health, depression, anxiety, and like teeth.
Oh, cool.
Like you gotta be
And-
okay with teeth.
The other stuff, yeah, it's great. The teeth,
Look, so long as they're not in the vagina, I'm okay with them.
Oh god, fuck that movie.
teeth.
Um, yeah,
Oh,
no,
my God.
but Nathan, I would definitely say, like, you should play it because it deals with some really serious subject matter in a very lighthearted and effective way. It's just such an incredible game.
It's also on
I-
Game
I
Pass,
usually-
so you're
Yeah.
not losing.
Yeah. I usually I usually applaud games that approach those topics in a really meaningful way in their stories. But I mean, I just went to the dentist today. I think it might be a little too soon.
I'm not down. I'm okay with the depression and the anxiety, but the teeth is where you lost me in that warning.
I hadn't gone to the dentist way too long before today, and then after this and seeing, like, I don't know, man, it's trauma.
I understand. I don't like the dentist. I'll go to the doctor, but I mean, I'll go to the doctor. You put a vaccination in my arm. You put a shot in my arm. Every time I go, I don't mind. Put 3 of them in. I don't care. But I go to the dentist and they start poking me with that thing. No thanks.
And like that sound in your head when
They're like
the
scratching
thing on your
Ugh.
the metal on your teeth.
Why are you doing this? We didn't have a warning at the beginning of this podcast.
All right,
Well,
Sorry,
we'll fix it in post.
this is my bad. Plot twist, we're not fixing it in post.
We
have a
will
post?
not. Yeah, that's a good question, Tim. No, so I agree with you, Nathan, that I do really appreciate it when games deal with that sort of subject matter, and I think that it's just become almost like a popular thing to talk about, where it's like people talk about it and they're like, look at what a good person I am for talking about this like taboo thing, and it's like it feels a bit disingenuous to me when it's done when people are like just constantly shoving it in your face, right? And so like like games like Life is Strange, right? Life is Strange is like sad teens, and it's like, yeah, I mean, yes, everyone deals with mental issues, but like be a little bit more creative. And like I said about Psychonauts, like the creativity is what makes that game. And so the way that they approach it in such a creative and just unbelievable, like fantastical ways is incredibly effective. So
Nice.
but
Nice. Okay, well, on the list.
nice. And like Tim said, Game Pass.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Game Pass.
I know, right? But it's time for the topic of the show. Okay, so topic of the show. We're going to be talking about the PlayStation Showcase that happened earlier today. Before we get into kind of the more granular nitty gritty, overall, guys, how did you feel about the show?
I liked it. There was a lot of stuff that I probably will pick up, so I was content with it.
Nathan?
I thought there was a lot of cool stuff. Definitely things that are interesting to me. But the big question mark to me right now is it enough for me to buy a PlayStation 5? I currently have one. So, I don't know.
I didn't know you were on the fence about that. So I'm actually going to be more interested in like in like I'm going to be very interested in your thoughts of like, is this enough? I think that this was kind of Sony's big their first big showing with the PlayStation 5 of like, here's why you should buy one of these things. Because up until
they needed
now,
this.
yeah, exactly. They needed this. And I think that their history, again, just speaking broadly, I think their history since last summer, like the over the last 12 months, they've done a lot to lose trust. And so they needed this in a pretty big way, especially after Microsoft's E3. Like, I think Microsoft had a pretty good E3. And they still, like, there's so many of these games that I'm looking at and I'm like, okay, but is this coming to PS4? Because if it is, then this isn't what you needed. This isn't the shot in the arm the PS5 needed for, like, games wise, software wise. So hesitant. I'm hesitant to agree, but I agree with you. But I'm like, we'll see if what they're saying is true. So
Right.
That being said, what was the standout game for each of you, Tim?
For me, probably Guardians of the Galaxy.
Really?
Yeah. I saw a lot of good stuff in there. And I mean, it's one of my favorite Marvel IPs. Plus, you give me the option to fly around in space, I'm going to take it every time.
Yep. Dude, I saw that gameplay where he literally does like, I think, a barrel roll in the snippet that they showed in the showcase. Right when I was like, I want to see some gameplay, and then they showed that and I was like, Tim,
do a barrel roll. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And Nathan, you were into that one too, right?
I like it looked a lot better than I thought it would. Like, I didn't even realize it was Guardians of the Galaxy at first. I was kind of watching on that particular one. I was not quite paying total attention until I noticed that, and I was like, huh, this is kind of looking good. Okay. I
think looks wise, I agree with you. I think that this game looks different enough from the MCU that it can be like its own thing, you know? I think that one of the biggest problems that Square Enix's Avengers game has had is that it just looks so similar to the MCU. And I feel like they did that by design. Like, I feel like they did that on purpose. And that's just such a weird choice to me. Like, that just seems so dumb.
It does seem out of nowhere.
You got to think about it though. Like, the MCU is the prime like Marvel market right now. So if you're going to try to play to that in a video game, I think they did a good job in that sense.
Yeah.
That being said, the final product was not great.
Right.
Yeah,
I guess. Oh, go ahead, Nathan.
I was just saying, like, Marvel games in general, as of late, aside from like Spider-Man, haven't really been. I mean, what was the last one that we had? Like the Avengers one that we saw the video of the people that, like, when they didn't do the QuickTime event.
Yeah, that was every time I think about that game, I remember you sending me that clip.
Yeah, and everyone's like, I thought the video stopped. Nope.
No, so it's just waiting for you to press the button.
Yeah. That's my frame of reference for Marvel games, aside from like Spider-Man. The anomaly was like, we got an amazing Spider-Man game.
Two of them.
Yeah, two of them. And so, you know, Spider-Man feels like a separate, you know, that seems like the anomaly because we've had so many good Spider-Man games in the past. But for them to start, you know, bringing in other Marvel games, when most of the time, like, the quality for anything with Avengers is just kind of like, it all seems like it's always like a quick push to make something that's like
push it out,
very
right?
Casual, right? So to see something like this, that they're going for the demographic of people that care about having like really good quality games, or really you know, more like a AAA demographic, right? So that to me was surprising to see this and be like, okay, this looks like Mass Effect. This looks like
right, to kind of mix those flavors of like AAA and like more true to the comics than trying to imitate the MCU.
Right. I mean, one of the things that I noted quickly was it's not. Oh man, Chris Pratt.
Right.
I was
So
like, oh,
and like all of them look markedly different.
yeah,
And
right, which I kind of like.
I no,
It's
I like that a
awesome.
lot.
Yep, and they got their own flavor and style, which is
Mhm.
definitely enough to differentiate them, which is perfect.
Yeah,
Exactly. And Tim, I do agree with you that, like, you know, what Square Enix did with the Avengers game in like trying to imitate what the MCU looks like. It's, you know, it's knockoff, like it's Kmart Chris Evans, Kmart, you know, Chris Hemsworth, Kmart Scarlett Johansson. But I agree with you that, like, obviously they were trying to trick people into buying this game thinking, oh, it's an Avengers game. But I feel like it's just so much safer to just like, let's just make it very clear that this isn't a game of the movies, and then let's just make a good game. And I wonder how not confident Square must have been in their ability to make a really good Avengers game in order to not commit to that early and say, let's just make our own thing, let's do our own thing, and let's just make a good game. And it seems like that's what they've done with Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm not super interested in this one, but I couldn't really tell you why, because every time people talk about it like you guys just were, I'm just like, oh yeah, no, that kind of adds up. That seems pretty cool.
Yep.
I mean, I'll won't get it right away, but you know, I do think it's a really interesting.
Right, it's on your radar.
I probably will, and only for the fact that if I don't get it right away, I won't get it. There's a lot of games like that for me, which is a problem.
Yeah. It's like that lukewarm of like, I am interested in this, but I won't be interested in this when there's a new shiny thing. And like, it doesn't have that much of a, you know, it doesn't hook you that much.
Yeah, it'll have to be a day one for me. Otherwise it won't be.
It's funny you guys both mentioned Spider-Man, and like, I'm kind of left questioning, you know, what the hell is, and I made a video about this recently of like, what the hell is Marvel doing with their video games? Of like, are they, you know, like, what is Marvel doing with their video games? Is this like something, are they trying to build like a Marvel VGU? Or like, do we have something, basically, are the Square Enix games related? So do Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers exist in the same universe? Or are those two separate? Do they exist in the same universe as the Insomniac Spider-Man games? And by the way, now Insomniac Wolverine. Do the Insomniac games exist in the same universe? And then on top of that, like, obviously those don't exist in the same universe as what's that game that was on Switch, Tim? Marvel something 3.
Oh, Marvel vs. Capcom
Ultimate
3?
Alliance?
No, Ultimate Alliance 3.
Okay.
Like, obviously Ultimate Alliance 3 doesn't exist in the same universe.
But those
then,
are like their own thing.
Right. But then like Midnight Suns, is Midnight Suns going to be a part of things? Like, what is going on? And are these all separate universes? Which ones overlap with each other? It's all kind of very muddied right now. And I would think that, considering the success of the MCU, I would think that Marvel would be kind of chomping at the bit to replicate that with video games, but it doesn't seem like they are.
I mean, well, you've got Insomniac working on their third Spider-Man game. You've got them working on a Wolverine game now. It wouldn't be hard to say that they would work on other IPs within Marvel and create something like that eventually.
But then at that point, is it only Insomniac that makes those games? And I don't know. I guess I figured that they would have had like a, you know, what Lucas Arts is to Star Wars. I figured they would have had something like that for Marvel by now, but they seems like they don't. But speaking of Spider-Man, that Spider-Man DLC looked awesome.
Wait, it's DLC?
Is it DLC?
Okay, so for anyone listening who doesn't get the joke, obviously, why would you? We were watching the stream together in Discord, and I'm sitting there trying to watch this Spider-Man 2 trailer, and there's a voiceover, and I'm like trying to pay attention, and I see a guy fly and hit a lamppost, and I see the electricity, and I'm like, oh my god, is it Miles Morales? Because I have just seen, just a few minutes ago, I've seen the Wolverine trailer, and I'm like, it was a little bit bittersweet, because it's like, oh, that's going to be awesome, but also now I'm sad because Insomniac isn't working on Spider-Man 2. Turns out they're working on both, and so like I get so excited, and Nathan says, is this DLC? And I said, I don't know, Nathan. We're about to find out. And then immediately he says again, is this DLC? And it's like, I don't fucking know, Nathan. I'm watching this live with you.
It's gotta be downloadable content.
This went on for about 15, 20 seconds.
And I missed the trailer.
Have.
And so as soon as I was like about to just fucking leave the chat and go watch it on my own, but I muted everyone for the Ragnarok thing. But so Spider-Man 2. First of all, the name. How do you guys feel about the name Spider-Man 2?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I was kind of hoping they would call it something else, because I wanted them to treat Miles Morales as though it is just straight up, this is the second game.
So you were kind of hoping it would be Spider-Man 3.
Not even 3. Like, don't put a 3
like
on it. Just
title.
give it a subtitle, like Spider-Man Venom or Spider-Man, like Spider-Man something. And because I think I
Something
might
does have a good ring to it.
Yes, that would have been a good Spider-Man.
Something.
I think I might have liked Miles Morales more than Spider-Man PS4. And so like I just was kind of hoping, and so it's like, it's such a tiny thing to be a little bit disappointed at the name Spider-Man 2, but like I loved Miles Morales, and I wanted it to get that like recognition as no, this is just straight up the second game in the series. So
I think it's funny that that's the thing that you mentioned first. Like, I'm disappointed that it's Spider-Man 2. When there's so many things about it that look pretty damn cool. Like Venom, come on.
I know. It's such a bitchy little comment, but like, Venom looks amazing, and like, okay, this is Harry, right? Venom is Harry in this universe, right?
I think so.
Oh, I guess, Nathan, you didn't finish Spider-Man, did you?
I didn't. It's one of those games that I pick up like every so often and just make my way through the side content, because like my initial thought was like, this game is really cool. I want this to last as long as possible. But unfortunately, I didn't gauge like my awful propensity to just
Attention
put
span.
games down. Yeah, attention span versus like how much I actually really liked that game. And I wasn't as stoked on it as everyone else, but it's a great game and it's a lot of fun. I just like, I keep dropping off and then coming back to it and getting a little further and dropping off and coming back to it. So I'll beat it maybe in like 2 years.
I used to be mad about that sort of thing with you, but the fact that you're so self-aware, I actually kind of okay with it now. So
that's good.
We've
grown a lot together.
Yes, we have. I do agree with you. I think that like it's an amazing game, but I do see how like, as much as I loved it, because I beat Spider-Man the weekend it came out, and then I beat Miles Morales. I did the same thing with Miles Morales. But I do see how it's like, if it's not hitting hard with you, then, you go do something else. But
I will say though, well, continue.
No. I was going to toss to Tim. So you will say what?
I will say, if they make Venom playable, I will beat that game, like the first one, and then Miles Morales in like a week. I swear, just so I can.
I'm holding you to that.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think it was like Ultimate Spider-Man on PlayStation 2. Playing as Venom was like a lot of fun. It was really refreshing. So, if they make that a possibility, then.
Yeah, that's. I think that if there's going to be multiple playable characters in Spider-Man 2, I think they're most likely going to be Spider-Man or Peter and Miles.
So with that, do you think they might introduce co-op because you'll have both of them to play with because they've both kind of come into their own now?
I don't
That would
think
be really
so.
cool.
I would love for that to be the case, but I don't think that they'll do that because I think that, I mean, we know from the previous two games that like these stories are fairly complex and like involved, right?
Yep.
But so I think that seeing both Peter and Miles have such a prominent role in the trailer for this one, which Tim, did you play through Miles Morales?
I have not touched it.
Okay, so minor spoiler for the very beginning of Miles Morales. They basically do like a narrative BS, like, you know, dialogue exposition where they're just like, oh, Peter's going to Europe on assignment, and so Spider-Man's not going to be around, but guess what? Miles Morales Spider-Man is going to be around. And so they make up this excuse for Peter to not be in the game very much. And like it felt kind of lame, but at the same time it did let Miles grow as his own Spider-Man. And that's what kind of enabled that game to be so incredible. But considering how much both of them were featured in this trailer, I kind of think that they are... I think that they're both going to play a pretty major role. And if that's the case, then I don't really think that there's going to be this like drop in, drop out co-op, because while Peter is doing something, Miles is off doing something else. And unless co-op is like two separate systems and you're both existing in the same world off in different parts of the map doing something different.
Well, they could do a Ghost of Tsushima thing where it's like different game modes with co-op.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
That'd be kind of neat.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love for there to be co-op, but I kind of don't think it's going to happen. But I mean, as long as we're dreaming, going to throw this out there for you guys. What about 3-player co-op? Because we heard that voiceover. It's not going to happen, but we heard that voiceover, and like I don't know if you guys went back and rewatched the trailer without someone asking if it was DLC, but the trailer, the voiceover in the trailer says like it's someone saying like I'm constantly looking for a challenge. I haven't found anyone who can fight me. I haven't found anyone who can beat me. Is it gonna be one of you? And then Venom says,
maybe you should get some DLC.
Oh, fuck. And then Venom says, yes, it's gonna be me. And like, it's, and then the Backstreet Boys start dancing and, you know,
Forgot about that part.
But,
so what, are you insisting that Carnage is going to be there too?
Well, I don't know if it's going to be Carnage. Like, I was going to ask you guys, who is that voiceover? Who's saying that?
What if
I hope it's Carnage.
What if it's asymmetrical multiplayer? Ooh.
Oh, that would be interesting. I'm
It's
like,
not gonna happen.
I mean, Harry.
But that'd be sick.
Harry is a good friend of Peter, and so like theoretically, Venom is friends with them. Nathan, I'm sorry. Spoilers for the post-credits scene in Spider-Man. Turns out Norman is cultivating. Harry is like super, super sick, like terminally ill, and Norman is cultivating the symbiote to try and save Harry. So,
got it.
I think Harry is going to be Venom, and I think that Venom might end up being an ally, like an anti-hero kind of ally in Spider-Man 2. So
I just love Venom. I think that'll be sick.
yeah, Venom's going to be fucking awesome. Final thoughts on Spider-Man 2, guys?
I want more.
You want more? Okay, good enough.
I want Venom.
All right. And what else stuck out to you guys? Like, I mean, I don't want to just run down a list, but I mean, we can if you want. But what else jumped out at you guys?
All right, so I guess we got to mention this KOTOR, like towards the beginning of the presentation.
Yeah,
being remade, I love it. I'm extremely happy about it. The fact that it's going to be a PS5 timed exclusive and then possibly making its way to PC is a little annoying, considering
Well,
I would have preferred to play this on PC.
It was okay. So you're in luck. I think they're launching day and date on PC. I think it's coming out PC and PS5, and then because the terminology is console launch exclusive, so it's like a timed exclusive on console only. I think it's going to be on PC on day one.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 6 months out or a year out. Honestly, they've been doing a lot of that stuff lately. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Sony's been paying out the ass for that stuff a lot lately, and I don't know. I mean, I think that if like I loved KOTOR, but I think that if I'm gonna play this, I'll wait for Xbox. The thing that like has me the most apprehensive about this game is just that it's being developed by Aspyr instead of BioWare.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, but look at BioWare's track record recently. It hasn't been stellar.
Well,
I don't know if I don't know if I could trust their current team with a KOTOR remake because it's not the same team that made the game.
It's not. And so here's my counterpoint to that. Because I do agree with you. Like their track record recently is not very good. But they crushed it with the Mass Effect trilogy. Like the Mass Effect trilogy is so good.
Yeah, but those were games that were already made. All they had to do was like,
I mean, they put in quite a bit of work into those. But I reckon you're right that they definitely they were games that already existed. Yep. But they did put in quite a bit of work. They crushed it. I think BioWare has hurt us. I think BioWare is very aware of, what their reputation is now. And I think that they're working hard to kind of change that, change that in the public eye. And I think I'm at the point where I'm kind of willing to give them that opportunity. And if that's like, and so as a result, I do kind of wish it was BioWare making this. Like if it takes BioWare remaking some of their best games to kind of find their footing again before they move on to Dragon Age 4 and Mass Effect 4, then yeah, I'm down with that. Nathan, any thoughts on KOTOR?
I think that's all fair. I never played the first one or the second one. Well, no, I played the second one, but when I played it, I was mainly just bummed that it wasn't real-time combat, so I just dropped off almost immediately. But I know everyone has nostalgia for the first two, and I think like I'm getting more to the point where I don't mind playing games that are different from real-time combat, and I actually really liked Dragon Age 1. So for that to be reskinned, at this point, maybe I'll be tempted to play it and get into it.
And so, by the way, I don't know, a Star Wars skin, which you're a Star Wars fan, and like, yeah, I don't know, correct me if you think I'm wrong, Tim, but I would say like maybe the best Star Wars story, period. Like better than the Skywalker saga, potentially.
I mean, it's not my favorite Star Wars story, but it is a good one. So
yeah, it's really, really good. So, but I mean, also I shouldn't be too unfair to Aspyr. They've done a pretty good job with porting older Star Wars games over. So, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Tim, I know that you're a Borderlands fan. Nathan, do you play Borderlands?
That's another one that I just never got into, but I keep wanting to. It's never enough. But I gotta say, this one looks pretty interesting. I might be kind of sold on it.
Okay. I mean,
because my main issue with Borderlands was always the setting. Like, I just couldn't. I hate games that are in wastelands. It's just not fun to play when I'm looking
it's just
at
such a boring ass like.
Yeah.
Oh, cool! Look at this! Look at this biome of desert. and like,
Oh my god,
I
a
know
rock!
I know that they changed.
Oh my god,
later on.
another rock!
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. I know it changes later, but like the kind of fantasy setting is really where I like. I
It's what
could
you
never
love.
complain about. Yeah, I can never complain about new fantasy games. So having a game in kind of like a pseudo fantasy universe, I don't know. It kind of looks interesting.
And
It's
you
very
like,
Alice in Wonderland.
I mean, as we established with Pokemon, you really enjoy a grind. Like you like to grind, and
No, no,
really,
no, I don't. But I do like just whipping some Pokemon into shape.
okay, all right. Well, I have always felt like looter shooters. I just don't like looter shooters. I feel like they're too grindy, and as a result, I'm just not that into Borderlands. But it's interesting to me that this one seems to have kind of like piqued your interest to the point that you're like, oh yeah, maybe I will jump in on this one. Something interesting that I noticed though was that they dropped the Borderlands branding from it. It's just called Tiny Tina's Wonderlands now.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I'm okay with it.
It leaves me to question like, is 2K finally divesting from Borderlands as an IP and trying to, I mean, it's kind of this like, it's kind of this this question of like, they're making another game, but they're not putting Borderlands branding on it. So how much value do they think is in Borderlands versus the name Borderlands? How much value do they think the concept has versus the name?
I mean, they're tipping the hat with Wonderlands. You know,
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's
feels
definitely
like the same
true.
franchise, but
Yeah, no, that's true. All right. Forspoken. Did that one jump out at you guys at all? Like it was that new one, that new IP from Square.
yeah.
That was the girl that
I
got
thought the
pulled.
gameplay.
That was the girl that got pulled through the portal, right? And then ended up in this
Yeah.
weird fantasy world. Okay.
I
But-
thought the. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I thought the gameplay looked pretty cool. The story itself, it didn't grab me really. But like the just general concept, I don't know, it was kind of weird. But I thought that like the combat and stuff and the travel, like the locomotion looked really
Yeah, that's what I was. That's kind of what I came away thinking is like the locomotion looks awesome. Other than that, nothing else about this game really hit with me.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I liked a lot of the movement that I saw. Some of the combat looked pretty fun. I couldn't tell you what happened story-wise. Just none of it meshed.
I feel like they just didn't give us enough information. Like, I feel like we saw that locomotion, but that's really all we saw. And so of what I understand about the game, I'm in. But, like, I don't have nearly enough information to really say, yes, I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, like we mentioned, locomotion, combat seem all right. But the base, all we got for story was, hey, you've been pulled into this other world and you're the only hope.
Yeah, it looks so. It looks very generic, like grocery store brand action adventure these days.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, I hope that, like, I mean, it checks the box for fantasy for me. B, it's like interesting combat and looks like it'd be fun to play, so that's cool. C, open world, maybe. If it is, then that could
it looks
be
like open world,
pretty big mark for me.
And it looked like Unreal 5 to me. I mean, I could be totally wrong. I don't know what engine Square uses, but it looked like Unreal 5. Like, remember last year when we got that Unreal 5 demo of just like the tech test? That's what this game looked like to me. And so like visually it looks extremely impressive from a distance. I think that the character model could use some work, but like from a distance, I think the world looked really, really cool.
Yeah, same.
So I don't know. Jury's still like way out on that one. I need so much more information, but we'll see. Yeah. It'll be one to like, you know, when it pops up in state of plays moving forward, I'll be interested. Rainbow Six.
I am not interested in this. I don't think any of us are.
Oh,
I agree.
oh boy.
I agree with what both of you guys are saying.
Oh.
Tim,
It's,
I haven't said anything yet.
yeah,
you've just been vomiting over there.
yeah. If
Please
Nathan
clean
can
it
hold
up.
down his vomit,
No.
Tim, tell me what you think.
I'm so sad. I was expecting a
Mhm.
new Rainbow Six experience, something fun, a nice little like co-op adventure, kind of like harking back to the old Rainbow Six days. But what we got was Rainbow Six Siege co-op against aliens, and I just don't care. You've lost me.
Wait, is this
Like,
DLC?
it might as fucking well be.
Yeah, honestly, this should be
Seems
DLC.
like it should be.
We're finally at the point where, like, Nathan, yes, I wish this was DLC. Like, I have always loved the Tom Clancy franchise, even when I don't love them. Like Hawks. Don't let Ethan find that out. Thank God he doesn't listen
like
to
one
this.
of the best ones. Wow, what's wrong with you? Wow.
I mean, End War, Hawks. Honestly, I've never been a huge Rainbow Six guy. Actually, that's not true. I was huge when it was like Rainbow Six 3 and Black Arrow. I was big into those games. But no, but like all the Rainbow Six games, even when I'm not into them, I'm into them because they scratch that itch of like Jason Bourne, James Bond, kind of like those like hardened spy espionage, very like based in reality thrillers, like spy thrillers in video game form, right? They really scratch that itch for me. And for them to add sci-fi to this, holy fuck, if there's one way to just get me to absolutely check out of a Tom Clancy game, add sci-fi.
Well, you know what? Let's think about this for a second. Let's think about this. Okay. Rainbow Six, the villain is always terrorists, right?
Illegal aliens.
Aliens are just extraterrestrial terrorists. It all makes sense now. I love this.
This is, I mean, maybe
This game's gonna be
this
great.
is like, maybe this is the Tom Clancy formula taken to its logical extreme. Taken to just the logical end of, you know, like you said, Nathan, it's always about terrorists. It's just, we've reached the ultimate terrorists.
Right.
God.
It's not just
Well,
Rainbow
let's
Six
not
and
and say
Crisis.
we did. I'm giving this one a hard pass.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead.
I don't know. I've always missed I've got heavy nostalgia for Rainbow Six Vegas too. So, like, I put so many hours into that game, and I don't know. Just it sucks to not be stoked about a Rainbow Six game like this bad.
Did the question, since you played that, did you ever use the camera to put your face on the characters?
I forgot that game could do that.
Me too. I never did that. No.
Oh
Did you?
my God.
I think it was 2, maybe it was 1. I know one of the Rainbow Six games you could like use the PlayStation camera or the Kinect or something like that.
It was the Xbox 360 had a webcam. It was like
That's
just
right,
a little
that white
webcam,
little square thing.
Yep,
yes.
it was before the Kinect, and that was actually a pretty popular thing that Ubisoft was. It wasn't popular because no one was doing it. No one owned that camera except like me and Tim, apparently. But it was a thing that Ubisoft was like getting on board with, and you could map your face onto. I didn't know that you could do it in Vegas, but I did know that you could do it in GRAW 2. So Advanced Warfare 2, you could do it. And GRAW 1 was awesome. I loved Ghost Recon Advanced Warfare. But Advanced Warfighter, it was Advanced Warfighter. But I knew you could do it, but I did not know you could do it in Vegas. Apparently it was just a thing that you did with Ubisoft.
It had some pretty sketchy results, but definitely
It
worth trying
horrible.
out if you have the tech for it.
Yeah, I was like, hey, do you want your Xbox 360 game to look like an early PlayStation 2 game? Here you go.
Yes. Always yes. Auto yes.
No. Yeah,
Yes.
no, I think that we can all agree this one's just a hard pass.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. Alan Wake Remastered, I mean, we won't spend too much time on this one. It looks like a remaster instead of more of a like graphical or total remake, which a little bit disappointing to me because I think that conceptually that game is really awesome. I love Remedy. I was hoping that it would be more like a Halo 2 anniversary level remake or remaster, but it definitely isn't.
Yeah, the only thing I can ask for is that they make the controls a bit better and just streamline it a little bit more. Because, God,
Yeah,
that
it's a
game felt
clunky game.
It feels clunky. I hope they can fix that a little bit. If not, then it's going to be a pass for me on this.
Yeah, no,
Great
it's a
story though. If
super
you haven't
clunky
played
game.
it, that's all I got to say about it.
Yeah, no, great story, very clunky. I hope they just completely redo the controls. Nathan, did you ever play it?
Nope.
Ooh. I mean, you honestly should grab this one when it's if it gets cheap. This one is worth playing. But
Okay.
I'm like October 5th, I might be buying this one instead of Far Cry 6.
Ooh, that's a hard no for me.
I
I'm going
really like Far
for
Cry,
me.
but
Far
like
Cry, sure.
I love Remedy, so
I'm not doing another Far Cry either. So
yeah. I mean, I guess we should talk about GTA 5. Like, first of all, very, very sly. They just slipped it back into March 2022 at the very end and didn't bring any attention to it. It would not be a GTA 5 launch if it didn't get delayed, right? So,
I guess.
I don't know. Like, it's GTA 5. How do you guys feel about it?
Looking
I
forward.
mean, yeah, it's GTA. We're probably gonna play it. You know it.
Oh, yeah.
I know it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I will buy it the day it comes out. I just I don't know. I feel like we are getting I'm with the delay, maybe not so much, but I feel like we're close enough even with the delay that it's like I kind of want to hear about this. I kind of want to hear what they're going to do about this. Are they going to let me move my character again? Are they going to let me move my character from PlayStation to Xbox? Because if that's what they do, then that's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
Honestly, if they don't do that, I might not buy it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm ashamed to say probably about $300 of shark cards in on my PS4 character. I have there's so much storied history with her that it's like I feel like it would be wrong to play GTA Online without her. So,
Okay. I mean, I just bought it again on PC to be able to play with people, so I'm just a sucker and I know it.
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I have bought GTA 5. Last I checked, I think 7 times, maybe more.
Oh my god!
Jesus Christ! All right, you have a problem.
I thought my 3 was too much.
Yeah, same.
Well, it's not like it's like I buy it for myself, but then I'm also like when I have friends who are kind of more casually into video games, I'm like, yeah, dude, let's play GTA together. And I'll find it really cheap. And I'm like, they're a good friend who I want to hang out with. And I do feel like Rockstar has earned it. I feel like with as much time as I've gotten out of GTA Online, I feel like they've earned me spending my money over and over again with them. So, yeah.
Okay. 7 times though?
Well, yeah, and I mean, I don't think I paid full retail 7 times, but
That's good.
so
That's
But still, 7 times though.
yeah. I
7
bought it on PS3. I bought it on PS4. I bought it digitally on PS4. I bought it for my friend Eric. Ben and I split it for my friend Eric. I think I bought it on. No, I don't own it on Xbox. I don't know. I've bought it a lot. It's been too many times. So
they didn't even release any DLC.
how how could this game be good without DLC?
Honestly, though, if they make an Undead Nightmare DLC for that game, I will have that instantly.
I will be
That will
all
be in my
over that. So
the only question I have left for GTA 5 is PC going to be getting this graphical upgrade? That
good question.
That's a good question. And see, this is the stuff that I feel like they're not giving us enough information on this game, because did you notice it said like GTA 5 coming, or it said GTA 5, and then they made a specific point in the trailer to have another title card and said GTA Online. And then after the GTA Online part, it said coming to PS5 March 2022. And so I'm left thinking, okay, is the PlayStation version delayed, but the Xbox version is still coming on in November? And then I'm left thinking, well, they probably wouldn't do that. They would probably delay both versions. So, is it only GTA Online that's delayed? So am I going to be able to buy the GTA 5 campaign in November and not play online the Series X version until, like, am I going to be able to play the Series X version of the campaign early, but not the Series X version of online until March? And I don't know. I just feel like they haven't given us enough information. And like you said, Tim, like, you know, is the only PC going to get these upgrades?
The only thing that I can say for certain, and I'm calling it now, a new GTA Online giant like event patch is probably going to come out then.
Oh,
like you'll see like a new like whatever you want to call it for that.
And you know what? So, that's smart. It's going to drive sales. So
yep.
It's I don't know. I want these reassurances. I want to know, okay, I'm going to be able to move my character. I can get excited to be able to jump into GTA anytime I want. And then at that point, like, all they have to do is tell me, yep, you're going to be able to import your character from PS4 to Xbox. Then it'll be a game that I never uninstall.
Yep.
So, anything else jump out at you guys? I'm just going to run down the list. Stop me if you want to talk. Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo.
So, I don't know about this one. I really don't. Every time I've seen it, I've been like, all right, this looks interesting, but there's not, I don't know. There's something about it that just makes me feel like this feels like it's going to be just another generic cookie cutter, like cyberpunk-esque game that I'm not going to care about after a couple hours. They haven't given me enough to be like, wow, all right, I love every bit of this. It doesn't exist for me. So for me, it's probably going to be a pass.
Interesting.
Gotcha.
Nathan?
I think, I mean, for one, anything Japanese that has to do with like ghosts or spirits is just super interesting and such a vibe, and like such, I don't know, it's just really cool. And so I'm excited about it from that aspect. Plus the spirits are like really stylized and interesting. Like we got some Slender Man looking people in there. We got some, like cool ghosts that are like balloons with sheets tied around them or something. Like I think those look really cool stylistically. I think the idea like that everything is gestures for different moves and everything is cool. The one thing that would definitely make it a really like one thing I'm hoping for is that it's kind of like open world or open areas. It's always something I really like. But it might just be like I don't know, like Doom or something where it's kind of on rails maybe. So I probably wouldn't care as much if they did that, but if it's more open and you're exploring like a city with all these spirits
like a
and everything
haunted
around,
cyberpunk Tokyo.
Yeah, I think that would seal the deal for me.
I think that the thing about this game, do you guys remember the very first trailer we ever saw for this game?
Yeah, it was very confusing.
Yeah.
What is this?
I like at that point I was like, oh fuck yes, like this one is on my radar hard. But then the more information I get about this, the more and more I see about it, it's like, oh, I am less interested in this game now. And I think that that's kind of honestly a big problem for them. And so, whereas like the more and more I saw, because the first time I saw a trailer for Death Stranding, I was like, oh, I'm in. Like, this looks awesome. And then the more I saw about it, the more the mystery was intriguing, and like the more information they gave to me, the more I was thirsty for Death Stranding. And I'm having kind of the exact opposite thing happen with Ghostwire Tokyo, of like, I was immediately interested, and then the more they show me, the less into it I am. This is Tim. I'm definitely at the point where I'm with you. It's like, it's just not enough to get me to spend money for sure on like a PS5 version. Interestingly enough, it's going to like, this is a Tango Gameworks game. Tango Gameworks is a Bethesda subsidiary, who Bethesda is now a Microsoft subsidiary.
Yeah.
And so like,
say what you can say. Man, I can't wait.
Yeah, and so I mean, this is going to be like, they had an exclusivity, like a console exclusivity deal in place before Microsoft acquired Bethesda. I think that it was supposed to be a timed exclusive. I think that at the end of that contract, at the end of the timed exclusiveness, it's coming to Game Pass, and that's where I'll play this.
If it comes to Game Pass, I'll probably check it out, but otherwise,
that's exactly where I'm at.
Yeah. And like, that's, I feel the exact same way about Deathloop, of like, I'm just not interested enough to buy it, so I'll play it on Game Pass in a year.
I probably will too.
Yeah,
even
same.
though I think it looks cool, but it's like, it's less because it's like, I don't want to play it, and more because it's like, I'm a patient gamer.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you still have Spider-Man from 2018, so like, who needs Deathloop? But also, like, you don't, like, Nathan, you're at this point, your gaming rig is a laptop, right?
Yep, right now.
And so, I mean, like, you don't have a PS5. The best system that you have to play this on would be a laptop, and it's not very well.
I don't know. The Series S is pretty good.
Well, so I guess until it's on Game Pass, the best system you have to play it on is a laptop.
Yeah. Yes.
And so, like, why spend money on it now to play it on a laptop when apparently it's not very well optimized? Like, for max settings, it's recommended to be rocking a 6800, which like, or a 6800 XT. And so like a 6800 XT, that's a very high-end graphics card at this point. So that, to me, that says it's not very well optimized. And so I wouldn't want to play it on very old hardware. And so, like, just play it when you get it in the subscription that you're, on your Series S. And I totally agree with you. Series S is incredible. I love my Series S. But, all right. So that Tachia, that Island Girl game, that looked boring to me.
Cute. I thought it looked cool, especially for kids. Not my jam, but it looked cool.
That was what I was gonna say too, Nathan. I love that it looks like it could be a great game that if I had kids, it could be like, hey, this is a video game. Here's your intro to it.
Yeah, okay. I guess that's a really good point. It's like, it's an introduction of like, hey, this is gonna get a new generation of gamers into like AAA level. Like, it's very easy to think, oh, this isn't targeted towards me, so why should I be interested? And it's like, well, be interested because it's going to be good for other people.
Yeah, it looks really, really well done, and the art style is really cool. So I think it'll be cool.
I agree from that standpoint, but hey, it's not something I'm going to play. But good for everyone else. Yeah.
You guys changed my mind. I'm exactly with you, Tim. Of like, looks interesting, not going to play it, but it's going to be good for other people. Naughty Dog, major fall from grace. Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy coming to PC and PS5. That's all Naughty Dog has done since Last of Us Part 2. I mean, since Last of Us Part 2, Insomniac has released Miles Morales and Ratchet and Clank, and announced Wolverine and Spider-Man 2. And it's like, Naughty Dog is not what they used to be.
Clear where Sony's putting their resources, probably.
Yes, but I feel like Naughty Dog for so long was just the crown jewel of like, you get basically unlimited resources. And now the returns on that investment seem to be coming from Insomniac rather than Naughty Dog.
Right. I think because Last of Us 2 was so polarizing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Last of Us 2, it was like, it was fine. And I know that I'm in the extreme minority of like, most people either loved it or hated it. I thought, this was fine. Whatever.
I haven't touched it. I probably won't touch it because you guys know how I feel about the first one.
Yeah, you don't even like the first one. If you don't like the first one, you will hate the second one.
Yeah, so I'm not even touching it.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that.
I just want my new Jack and Daxter. Come on. Naughty Dog, you got nothing else going for you right now. Now is the time.
I kind of thought that might happen. But
oh boy.
Nope. Uncharted 4 on PC. Woo! The worst Uncharted game. Actually, no. Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy on PC. The two worst Uncharted games. I would be more excited, and I would honestly probably even buy it if this PC port included the Nathan Drake collection. But it doesn't, so I won't.
Why wouldn't it just be a whole big collection?
Yeah, it seems very strange to me that they... it seems very strange to me that they're just... Like, PC will have 4 and Lost Legacy, but not 1 through 3. And also now they're continuing the long tradition of just saying, fuck Golden Abyss, because that game... Apparently Sony doesn't like that game, even though it was awesome. Okay. We talked Wolverine, Gran Turismo 7, big yawn.
It's Gran Turismo. I mean, you either like the series or you don't. You're either a Forza fan or you're a Gran Turismo fan. And honestly, for I think most of us, rather be playing Forza because we can get it on a Game Pass.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. None of us are like big enough car guys that we're going to play either Gran Turismo or Forza Motorsport. We're going to play Forza Horizon. And, if I can get, I'm going to play the one that I can get on Game Pass. So, okay, now, last one, Ragnarok. Atreus hit puberty. His voice is much deeper, and that was cool. I loved seeing Freya, Mimir, Brock, and Sindri are all back. I loved seeing all of them, particularly Mimir. I loved that, Mimir's just sitting there on the table reading.
Just a head chilling.
Yep. Something about the song that they were playing. I found I don't know, something about a head, and then you see him on the table. I liked that trailer. I haven't played the first game, and I don't know how I feel about this, but I liked that little nod, if you will.
I think that you should play the first one because it was honestly incredible.
I get that a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. This looks... I don't want to say that I was underwhelmed because this was a good trailer. I'm totally on board. But it does look a little bit too much like... I hate that I'm saying this, DLC. It looks like it's just more of God of War 2018, which I loved God of War 2018, and I'm thrilled to have more of it. But considering it's... I guess the fact that it was a PS5 game and is now a PS4 game really, really showed in that trailer of no, this is a PS4 game. I don't really know how else to phrase that, if that makes sense to you guys, but
I know, I get what you're saying, because it was originally supposed to only be for PS5, but because of shortages and such, they've moved
They
production back to be
decided.
able to, so that they can play on PS4 as well. And I understand that from a logistics standpoint, but you're right. It did show in the trailer. It did seem very samey. I hope we get at least a little bit more. Like I'd like to see some new weapons, some new abilities.
Yeah, I mean,
which weren't really
something.
shown. Which really weren't shown off in the trailer. We saw the axe. We saw the Blades of Chaos. I don't think we saw any Atreus combat, or if we did, I missed it.
He was jumping around on a spirit buck one time. I saw
Okay.
that.
Atreus gameplay, like playing as Atreus, would be enough to be like, oh yeah, no, this is not just more God of War.
I hope we get it, because like as much fun as ordering him around was in the first game, I'd like to see some sections just playing as him while Daddy goes off to do something else.
Well,
Hey, I got to take care of this own thing. I'm older now. I have more responsibility.
and he's
give him
larger
a room
and
to grow.
stronger.
Yep.
And so like, yeah, no, I totally agree. That would be really interesting, both from gameplay and story perspective. I would love to play as Atreus. So and then I mean, at the end they were very kind of like coy, and the girl at the end, which by the way, was that Zendaya? Because that looked like Zendaya.
I'm not sure.
That girl.
That'd
So
be really cool.
you know who the girl who plays Mary Jane in the Spider-Man movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was her. I'm actually gonna look it up, but after this podcast. But she says like, you'll get your answers soon enough. Well, some of them. And like, to me, that was just such an obvious message to the fans of like, we're going to tell you about the release date. We're going to tell you about gameplay mechanics. We're going to give you answers to this. They're coming, but you just need to be patient. So that's, I mean, that was pretty much it. That was pretty much the whole presentation. I don't know. Do you guys want to give it a grade? I would give it like a B, maybe
I'd give it a
B
B plus. B plus for me.
Okay.
There's a lot of good stuff, but nothing super, oh my God, I have to buy this immediately.
Yeah, nothing like, I think if I didn't have a PS5, there wasn't anything in here besides Spider-Man 2, which honestly, we don't even know if Spider-Man 2 is going to be on PS4 or not. There wasn't anything in here besides Spider-Man 2 that I'm like, if I didn't have a PS5, I'm running out to like buy one from a scalper right this second.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Is the two games I'm probably arguably the most excited about, Deathloop and Ghost of Tsushima, Ghostwire Tokyo. Those are both coming to Game Pass, so
yeah. So like, there's no reason you're not the two things that
Last Venom.
That's the thing, and so like that's that kind of anomaly right now is like, and I feel like Spider-Man 2 coming in 2023 really does make it much more of a gray area. Like if they told me Spider-Man 2 is coming out next year, I'd be like, that's probably coming to PS4. But coming out, it's because that's going to be a holiday game. So that game is 2 years away at least.
Plenty of time.
Yeah, at that point, I feel like this might be a PS5 exclusive. Like this game probably won't come to PS4. But without that confirmation, it's kind of an anomaly.
Yeah, by that time I will have played Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo and gotten GTA on Xbox. So
yeah, exactly. But I do think that was kind of intentional of like, you know, they came out swinging saying like, Gran Turismo 7, PS5 exclusive, God of War, PS5 exclusive. And then they had to walk both of those things back. So it doesn't surprise me that they're not saying that about Spider-Man 2 right now.
Yeah.
But, so that was the showcase. Nathan, it got a B from me, B plus from Tim. Nathan, what's it getting from you?
C plus.
C plus. Fair enough. All right. Well, one last thing, and that's the weekly trivia challenge.
The final answer.
I crush under pressure.
Is that what you want to do, Tim? Is that your answer? Okay.
No.
So, this week's weekly trivia challenge. During his first presidential campaign, President Barack Obama utilized in-game advertisements to target 18 to 34-year-old men. Which of these games did President Obama advertise in? Was it A, Burnout Paradise, B, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD, C, Need for Speed The Run, or D, Mass Effect 3? Do either of you feel like you know this?
No.
I think it was Burnout.
So Nathan, you feel like it was Burnout Paradise?
Yeah, I don't know why, but I think it was Burnout.
Okay, so Nathan, you're saying A, final answer?
Yeah. Tim, what are you saying?
Can I hear all of them again?
Okay, I'll read you the question again, too. During his first presidential campaign, President Barack Obama utilized in-game advertisements to target 18 to 34-year-old men. Which of these games did Obama advertise in? A, Burnout Paradise, B, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD, C, Need for Speed The Run, or D, Mass Effect 3?
I know it wasn't Mass Effect. I know it wasn't Tony Hawk. It's either Burnout or The Run.
I feel like Need for Speed, you're against the police, so it's like, what would he be working with there? Like, seems like a politically odd choice.
I was gonna say you got to get that criminal vote, but some of them can't vote because they're convicted felons.
I'm not trying to sway anyone any direction. I'm just wanting to like counterpoint to your logic here, Nathan. Car companies will not sign with EA to put their cars in Burnout because they don't want the visual of their cars constantly being destroyed. So Burnout is also seen as like fairly taboo by major companies.
Nathan, you're going with Burnout?
I'm gonna go Burnout. I don't know.
Fuck it. I'll go with The Run. We'll split the difference.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Hedge your bets.
Yep.
Well, one of you is correct.
It's not me, is it?
It's Nathan. Nathan, you are correct. It was Burnout, and it was this very strange time where EA was like selling in-game billboards that would like companies could pay for like, oh yeah, it's going to show on, basically it's going to get like this many impressions between these times with these demographics, and it was like they were able to get it like hyper specific.
You know, that sounds like a very EA thing to do, and I probably should have considered that.
It kind of feels very like Black Mirror-ish, but also, you know, Obama won.
Let alone like for it to be a politician, like political ads in a video game with EA.
Yeah.
Like that's some dystopian shit right there.
Well, next thing we're just going to be seeing Trump in Fortnite. So,
oh god! All right. On that note, that's all we have for you guys tonight. Don't forget you can see everything we do all in one spot over at ColdNorthPro.com. We'll be back next week talking about whatever happens in the next 7 days. Let's all just say a prayer to the good Lord Jesus that it's not Trump in Fortnite. Until then, reset.
Reset.
Oh God, Tim, why did you? Now there's
honestly though, that would be so fucking funny. Like that's his last stand because he's like a giant like that.
Yeah, what's that? Was like marshmallow or whatever.
Carrying around his phone and tweeting out on Parler.